Hello? Jesus. What the hell just happened? Hi. How do I want to say this? The brilliant thing about Elgato's products is the wide ecosystem. My camera's like all messed up now. The wide ecosystem where everything is integrated together and works together to do a thing. The bad thing about Elgato's products is that it's all dependent on the same ecosystem. So if something goes wrong, it all goes wrong. I almost thought I just had to restart my stream because I went to add a new scene to my stream deck after I already started streaming, which used to be fine, but after the most recent set of updates where they're using more WebSocket-y kind of stuff, the way it pulls it, it just crashed the Stream Deck app. So then I had to relaunch the Stream Deck app, add my scene, good to go. Go to start talking in my stream, and my mic volume is gone because somehow the Stream Deck app crashing bugged out WaveLink, and then I had to toggle some things in WaveLink to suddenly make it start showing my microphone audio levels. Hunter with the Prime sub, 31 months. Jeebus. Jeebus. Coming up on 3 years. That's wild. So, today's stream could be really easy, or it could get really messy really quickly. I am armed with my custom Epos Vox Edition LTT.com screwdriver, LTTstore.com screwdriver. We're going to build a computer for me to use in my house that's going to be relatively toddler safe, using mostly older components. There's only a singular brand new component. Well, I guess an SSD, but does that count? In that I bought like my 20th NHD 15 because I can never keep these around just due to space. But we're gonna combine some older components to make a computer. But that also means we're literally fusing like 4 computers together, which means we got to disassemble them and then make sure all the parts still work and blah, 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 blah. So that's gonna be fun. We're gonna undo a lot of older projects and we're gonna combine them into what should be a beefy gaming system for me to use in the house on my Alienware Ultrawide. But that also isn't, like I said, using anything too new. So we're not using a 4080. We are using my 3090, and I realize that's not super old, but like, I'm not buying things for it. This isn't like, these companies sent me parts to do this. This is purely just what I already had in 4 different systems. So we're going to start by disassembling things, and then we'll start to like build up what the picture looks like when we get there. Fun fact, the Stream Deck software freezes when displayed on any of my secondary monitors. Oh dear. That's yikes. You mean you are not using the GPU in the thumbnail? Oh, I absolutely am. Alright. So first we're going to disassemble my NUC. So, what I've been using in the house has been this bad boy. The Intel Raptor Lake? Whatever it was. Not Raptor Lake. It's a 12th gen. I don't ever remember the freaking gens. Thank you for this tier 1 sub, Logan. The most recent Intel NUC that I reviewed, they have a newer one that's ARC-based that I haven't fully covered yet. We're going to have to play Jenga with my mic arms for both my camera and my microphone, and we're going to have to stabilize this a little bit here. I don't want to make anybody too sick. So, this is what I've been gaming on in the house. It has a 12900, not a K, just a 12900, but it is obviously some power limited by being inside a tiny NUC cooling enclosure, and an RTX 3080. And it's been okay. I have some issues sometimes with the network driver where like if it starts, Alder Lake, yeah. If it starts downloading too fast, it'll just like kill the Ethernet driver and I have to restart the Ethernet driver in order for it to work. But otherwise it's been fine. It's just not quiet at all. It obviously sits on my desk and I'd like a little more juice. I want to put my 3090 in it. So this is going to become a capture PC for probably my Mac setup because the 8GB M1 Mac Mini just cannot handle the recording that I need it to be able to do, so I'm still going to need a capture setup for that, unfortunately. Oh, oops. Not a whole lot of airflow. Well, honestly, it kind of is, because it sucks it all in through the sides. So the graphics card takes it in through here, and the rest of the computer kind of takes some in through the back here, and then it exhausts it out the top. So it's not terrible. And yes, unlike my original unboxing, I know how to disassemble this thing now. Alright, someone make an OBS plugin that is real-time camera stimulation? Yikes. Stabilization. Ah, the soothing sounds of a ratcheting screwdriver. LTTstore.com. What's your opinion on VTubers? Am I supposed to have an opinion on an entire category of streamers? Does it work that way? I don't know that it does. On that category. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to have an opinion on a category. I mean, I'm sure NVIDIA should whip up something. Honestly, they should. Yeah, otherwise the NUC is really tiny. You can actually slot it in a PCIe slot. It's slotted in a PCIe slot for this board, so you could technically do that if you could still run all the power to it. Or at least you could with the older ones. I know Devour did it. I don't know if you could do it with this one. But it's super tiny, so it's going to be the perfect little capture PC. Because it still has that X16 slot. So I can put a Camlink Pro or the Blackmagic Quad in here, and it will capture the HDMI out from my Mac, as well as the camera I have over there, and I should be good to go. Actually, I may put the dual Magewell and just use pass-through. Like, I may put this chunky boy in here. Yeah, that might be the play. That way I can still run the camera to my Mac, and I can still just do pass-through. Have you seen the Alice camera, and what do you think it's vaporware? The Alice camera. That sounds really familiar, but I'm not sure I actually know what you're talking about. Let's look it up. Oh, we're not done with the NUC yet. I need my drives. I'm gonna be using the boot drives from this thing, so I need those as well. The Alice camera. I don't really have easy access to my mouse and keyboard since I'm using the desk. Let me look up what that is. Alice camera. The camera for creators. Oh lord, we're gonna pull this up. A device like no other. Convert your smartphone into a professional camera. Share 4K content to your audience instantly. Lightweight, compact, and works on both iOS and Android phones. Limited availability. Looks like a Laowa lens on it. 7.5mm f2. So it's a camera module rather than just like a lens. Attach it to your iOS or Android smartphone. Shoot DSLR quality content with professional lenses, yet they don't say the mount there. AI and computational photography. It's micro four thirds sensor. I mean, that's what I wanted. If it was announced 2 years ago, I mean, that would be $14.95. $1,495 for a micro four thirds camera that you attach to your phone and are going to be limited by your phone storage. You know what else you can get for $14.95? There are two things you can get for $14.95. If you want Micro Four Thirds, you can get a Panasonic Lumix GH5S or GH5. Shoots 4K 60 video, Micro Four Thirds sensor, just the same one that's in here. Takes photos. You don't need to be limited to your phone. And if you use a little pancake lens or something on it, it's gonna take up about the same amount of space in your bag. But it's a real camera. It even has like Wi-Fi shit, so you can transfer it to your phone. Alternatively, I'm not gonna pull it off its mount. You could get the Sony a7S II. A full-frame not cinema camera, but full-frame camera that does brilliant 4K 30 video. Brilliant 4K 30 video. It is a low-light beast with more impressive low-light capabilities than basically any other camera released. And again, will take up about the same amount of space in this bag because you're not leaving that thing on your phone. It may not be vaporware, although it may very well be, but it may not be because it launched right at the start of the pandemic. I'm assuming if it was 2 years, shortages, shipping containers, blah, 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 blah. We're launching a third batch of Alice's cameras from January 2023. We're still building. Yeah, it may not be actual vaporware. They're making like 50 of these. It's not vaporware. It's also not a mass-produced product. But it is also a complete waste of time. Yes, the computational and AI-based photography stuff is cool. I'd rather see someone just develop that built into a program. No. Just no. It's Kickstarter and they use a phone as a view. Yeah, that's stupid. It's still going to take up the same amount of space as a little mirrorless camera. Because that's what it is. And then you're stuck with your phone as a viewfinder. There are no reviews of this thing now. Yeah, because like 2 people probably have it outside of their company. And they're not customers probably. They might be. Again, I'm not going to call it vaporware. I don't know, so I'm not going to jump into that territory. But come, $1,500 instead of, that is just the body. Like if we go back here, that's just that's not the lens. You still have to buy a lens, just like a camera. Okay, most modern cameras will let you use your phone as a viewfinder anyway. If not, there are wireless HDMI transmitters. Like, this isn't a feature. And yeah, as Hunter pointed out, it's not, probably also only works on iPhone. No, it says it works on Android. Like, they repeatedly say it only works on Android. But yeah, it's not going to be able to use the ProRes or ProRes RAW capabilities of the iPhone Pros, which is a major loss, like a major downside. I don't know. Let's get the drives out of the NUC. Honestly, at that point, just like, I forgot to switch scenes. Honestly, at that point, just use your phone. Get the Moment lenses. Get the Moment case with the Moment lenses. They're pretty solid. I don't use them because I can't stand juggling stuff with my phone, and I think most people will feel the same way. But if you're gonna commit to that, just do that. I gotta figure out how to get my drives out of this thing. There's number 1. I do like this little back drive shield, but it only does 1 of them. I think the last model had 2 of them back here. Oh, there's like a slot on the bottom for something too. Buy $1,200 phone, buy more expensive camera system for like, fuck, dude. People just... I appreciate new ideas going out into the thing, like into the ether, whatever. God, I love the backspin on this screwdriver. This is not sponsored. Like, genuinely, I bought 5 of these myself as Christmas presents this past, you know, for this past Christmas to give to family members and stuff because it's the freaking best. But yeah, like, I appreciate new ideas coming into this space and attempts at problem solving and whatever. I think so many people create solutions that are lacking problems. Like, that's not the angle to solve a problem. What do you encourage people to be if they want to be a content creator? Commentary, voice only, content creator, VTuber, face cam. I think, like, treating those as different things to be is missing the point in the first place. That's just different kinds of content. That shouldn't be a label for you. Your label should be based around what you do. And I know that sounds like I'm being difficult to not answer your question, but the fact that you asked it that way shows that you have either listened to a lot of people or believe that kind of thing, and that is extremely limiting. You should do what's right for your content and for what you're comfortable with. VTubing is cool, but it's a very expensive, both in terms of resources and, you know, money, setup, whatever, endeavor. It's a neat thing. I want to look into it a lot more. I've kind of been peeking behind the curtain at it for a long time. I'm just waiting for certain aspects of the technology to kind of, get itself together. There we go. But it is not a cheap endeavor to actually do it well. Personally, I don't see the point in, like, a static image style VTubing thing where it's just like, here's a picture, it's me, smile, and then it, you know, if you're doing it the cheaper, lazy way, like where it doesn't show anything, to me, as a viewer, like, I'm just gonna look at that and be like, why is this on my screen taking up space? It's not adding to the experience for me. But for some people it does, like, that's fine. But I mean, in terms of face or no face, whether face is defined as VTubing or actual on-camera presence, you know, either of those two are going to have a much easier time. Shouts out to Sabrent, by the way. They make some brilliant drives. You know, doing one of those two options, face or VTubing, is going to make it a lot easier psychologically to connect with your viewers, which matters. You know, straight voiceover is much harder, especially if we're talking streaming. Voice-only streaming is, like, honestly kind of pointless. Like, I would say not bother or focus on videos in most cases, because then the entire experience is focused on the gameplay, or you have to spend a lot of extra time coming up with ideas to make the rest of the stream entertaining. And if you have those ideas, go for it. Sounds great. Figure it out, if you can. But if you don't have those ideas, then you're just assuming people are going to stay because of your gameplay. And I can promise you in 2023, the year of our Gaben, that don't happen. It just doesn't happen. It barely happened 5 years ago. So, like I said, you gotta make the right call for you. But treating that as a category rather than a decision made based on the type of content you're making is a big mistake, IMO. Alright, we got the drives out. We got the GPU out. I only pulled the GPU out because I sold it. So, the 3080 is going to someone on our Discord server already. I will need to remember to put new drives in this before I try to recommission it as a capture rig, of course. We'll get our bits swapped back here. That means a great content creator is going to make content that will connect to those watching it. Yeah, I mean, that is ultimately the goal, is it not? If you're not making something that resonates with people, has an impact with them, means something to them, what the hell are you doing? I put the wrong bit in the wrong spot. Motherfucker. Who's the PC going to be for? For me. In my house, because I was just using the NUC, and I need something bigger and better. Wow, how you do that? How you do what? Put the bits in the screwdriver? It has a bit holder. LTTstore.com. I hate shilling for someone else's merch site. It feels so stupid. Like, I'm leaving money on the table here, but also I'm not going to make and sell a screwdriver, so... I'm the bits and bobs holder. That is way too easy to say something inappropriate if you misspeak. Alright, so we got our storage. Pulled out the GPU to sell. Alright, we need to pull the power supply out of my old capture rig. And then we got to pull the core components out of my old sleeper PC. I don't even know if you'll be able to see this. Oh, wrong button. Yeah, it's too big for this, like, setup. I'm pulling out this 1000 watt EVGA Supernova. I forgot how to do it because the Be Quiet has a inset power supply thing. But I'm pulling this out. This was my capture rig running Threadripper, but I sold that Threadripper to Hunter, so now it's going to become a NAS. Using lots of M.2 drives and some hard drives, hopefully that Seagate might send me, or WD, or someone. Alright, I gotta figure out how I want to do this. Yeah, there's no point in doing overhead for this. Okay, I gotta set this in my chair. Listen, that Threadripper was my best purchase of 2022. It certainly helped me out too, so. I wish I had more Threadrippers, but... Alright, how are you supposed to get the power supply out of this case? Oh, it's got a... I see it. Hold on. There's a side screw. This case, the Be Quiet Dark Base 900, I think it is a wonderful case, by the way. And in fact, I'd be using this for my gaming PC, if not for the fact that I know for sure where the drive bays are for it, and I don't know for the case that I'm putting the stuff in. And so, by default, the case that we're putting the stuff in is going to be the gaming PC, because I will need drive bays for my NAS. And to answer Wyatt's question, I'm going to more or less end up with the same number of PCs at the end. I am just swapping around their components. So this was a capture PC. Now it has no CPU MOBO. I'm going to move my... Technically, I guess I'm one PC down, because I'm going to move what was my AI PC in that Lee & Lee case. And here, it's going to become a Super NAS / AI rig, kind of, maybe. The sleeper PC is becoming my gaming PC. The NUC is being decommissioned from my gamer PC, but becoming a capture PC. So, like, everything is staying around. They're just shifting purposes and configs. What's up, Fifth Nail and Avolt? Thank you for stopping by the stream. Hope you all are having a great weekend. Alright, this PC is ready for other shenanigans later. Okay, we picked up a low power adapter for Noctua somewhere that I don't know which PC it came out of. I'm gonna assume it was the Be Quiet. Alright, I've got to get the power supply out of this bracket, and we can get the core components out of my sleeper. You should not be going to bed, Logan. I got a 1060, man, your parts are better. I mean, sorry. It's kind of the nature of the job, I guess. Why does this... What is it? So this is the power supply bracket from the Be Quiet Dark Base 900. You attach the power... Oh, I see. Never mind. I'm an idiot. The screw holes for the power supply... No, that's the screw holes. Yeah. So the power supply goes in here. You screw it from the side so it mounts to the case. And then these look like wall mounting screw holes. You know, where you put the... And then you wall mount... Why? Are you wall mounting a power supply? Be quiet. They don't hook into the case. Oh. Actually, they might. I don't know, man. I don't know. You might be right. Alright, so we got to get the core components out of the sleeper PC. This was my sleeper PC project. It ran too hot and too noisy. So, we're wiping it for this one. It was a cool project. I'll keep the case, do something like it again in the future. Probably with more holes cut into the case, but... This was my attempt at a 4K 60 444 chroma subsampling capture rig in the meantime before Lovelace came out from NVIDIA. So this is... It's got the Blackmagic DeckLink 8K Pro in here, which has lots of SDI cables and can do 8K 60 and stuff like that. It just ended up not being worth the hassle. Because honestly, as much as people act like it's a just do it forehead kind of thing, converting PC signals at high resolutions and formats to SDI is actually really expensive and really messy and doesn't work out super well. Like, I've invested over like $1,500 into making that kind of workflow happen, and it never really works. The card's fine. It's built for cameras. I mean... Alright, we gotta unplug all this power supply nonsense, and then we get to pick our RAM. I wanna pick, like, the most and the fastest RAM I have available, because it's DDR4, so, like, I'm not gonna be using DDR4 for pretty much anything anymore. That PSU sag, yeah, it had to be specifically mounted in here to fit, because it is ever so slightly too wide for the case. Alright, that should be everything off of the motherboard. We just gotta take off the pump, and I need to get... Oh, you'll be using DDR5 now? Well, this build can only use DDR4. So that's what I'm saying, is I can pick pretty much whatever from the RAM that I have, because all new systems use DDR5. Is that PSU mounted with hope? Yes, it lasted perfectly fine for like a year now. I mean, it's steel. I444 is the only way to record 444 with a GPU encoder in OBS. BGRA is RGB with alpha. I have no clue why it showed up in OBS 29, but you can't actually record alpha with OBS 29. Little hammer and punch action. No, it's not the back corner. It is the side that the panel mounts to. If I hammer that out, the side panel won't fit on anymore. And the other back panel, this isn't a case with like cable management space, so the other back panel just sits flush against it. Like there would be no room to fit it. Using Athlon on this build. No. So this is a 10900K. We are going back to that generation. which again, I always forget the dumbass names for it, but 10900K. I was watching, I sold off, no, what did I do? I don't know. I don't have my 11th gen anymore. And I was watching GN's reviews of the 12900K versus the 10900K, and especially since I'm going to be playing in like ultra wide, you know, 3440 by 1440, 175 hertz for higher res formats. The performance difference between 10900K and 12900K was basically non-existent. Now, in a dream world, I'd love to just put the 13900K in here, but I still haven't gotten to benchmark it because I still don't have a motherboard that works with it. So we're going older, and it's still going to run fine. Obviously, I'm missing out on DDR5 and some PCIe lanes, but for what I need, I just need a capture card for my Steam Deck, maybe, and the GPU, and that's it. I'm looking at it, the GPU is going to block the capture card slots, so we'll probably just do a USB capture card. Why are these not coming out? I think it's unscrewing the standoffs, damn it. Oh, I'm going to have to find a back plate. I hope it comes in the NUC box. That's going to suck. You can't overclock the frame rate out of a webcam, Logan. That's not how it works. Jesus Christ. Yeah, these are just like unscrewing the standoffs. That's... Oh. It's out. Lol. Yeah, it just took the standoffs out of the backplate. Alright, you know what? That's fine. Will a 7900X TX perform well on AM4? I mean, yeah. Pretty much everything performs great on AM4. $5950X is a great chip. I love it when thermal paste jobs are like easy to clean off. Yeah, alright. Gotta go this way. Alright, we gotta get this freaking thing out of the back of the case, which is gonna be fun because I had to Dremel the case to fit the IO shield in the first place. Almost cut off a finger for nothing, man. Started using Pro Workstation GPUs as the coolers on consumer GPUs. What? There's a reason there isn't a capture card selector feature. Capture card output. I don't know what you're asking. That's not a feature, like, at all. What do you mean? Hello? There we go. Like, you're taking the coolers off of workstation GPUs and putting them on consumer ones? That sounds not bad. When I think older, I still think parallel ATA connectors. I mean, this is a gateway case after all. That was kind of the vibe originally. It was fun. Honestly, I killed more stuff on this with the trying to use the freaking Linux build that like went wacky than anything else. That freaking Garuda Linux or whatever the hell. If they ever get SteamOS working like smoothly without any hacky like, oh, you got to download this custom build and then this patch and never update until we say it's okay, blah, blah, blah kind of situation to run SteamOS with NVIDIA cards, I will use the hell out of that. SteamOS is the perfect example of how Linux should be for consumer use. Alright, goodbye gateway case for now. now the real build begins. Does it look like a cow? A little bit. How do the A-data drives go after a while? I haven't had any issues with them. Granted, I've killed one SSD in my life, and I, abuse the hell out of them for recording in cache and scratch drives, so my sample size is whatever, but like I've only ever had one drive die, and it was one of my very first SSDs. Alright. It is time for... Hello, darkness, my old friend. The Fractal Design Define R4. My case from 2014. This build housed an AMD FX 9590, the Noctua NHD14, and later the D15. What was I running at the time? An AMD 7850 graphics card? And then eventually my... No, it would have run my 660? My first Invent card. Even with the D14, I still had heating issues on the 9590. Like, it would still, during video renders with Adobe Media Encoder, shut down due to temperatures. It was a lot of work. Ironically, the D14 is what I had issues with. The D15, which wasn't supposed to be a major upgrade, did actually solve those issues for some reason. I do remember that. But I still have the board and that chip. I wish I had a use for it because it was so expensive and because it was so cool. Like, at the time, it was a beast. It was like one of the coolest CPUs you could get. But at this point, like, what are you going to do with it? Really, what are you going to do with it? So this housed that computer at my parents' house for a while, and then my main PC in our apartments for a while, and then it housed my wife's main PC for a while, and then it was a server for a while. So this thing has done an insane amount of stuff. Fractal cases are some of my favorite. The R4 is one of my favorite cases of all time. And we're going to build a badass, relatively new gaming PC in it. Yet again, because I believe in keeping the stuff that I actually like. I get rid of a lot of PC components, but I don't do it just to get new stuff. I do it to use the stuff that I love long term. Alright, we're going to be somewhat smart and do power supply routing first, I guess. And yes, this is a little dusty. It's been in use for 9 years now. And, you know, it's been moved to a million different places. It's been constructed on top of, stood on. So I get it. Leave your nasty comments at the door. As I just shook out a loose screw or something. I'm gonna move my mic up here. Alright, we gotta... Who knew I'd be putting a 1000 watt PSU with custom cable mod cables in my 2014 case? Y'all can't, like, see this at all. What am I supposed to do? I don't have... There we go. You can at least see my hands. So I will say... I mean, I've cleaned it out a few times, of course. This fan back here is actually pretty nasty. But otherwise, I have cleaned it out over and over and even, you know... gave it a light dusting before we started tonight. There we go. You got a wider cam, not for this overhead stuff. I will get one set up over top of, I have another like workbenchy kind of setup that I'm using for art and stuff like that, I will get a better overhead angle for moving forward. This was kind of relatively impromptu. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I will preach the amazingness of the Define R4 to the ends of the earth. But do know that its compatibility with water cooling is not super great. You can fit a 280-ish kind of up here, and maybe a 240 in the front if you're lucky and you remove the optical drive bays, which I'm not willing to do. But for modern water cooling standards, for like AIOs and stuff, you're going to have a hard time. The R5 is a lot better for that, but I thought the R5 was a lot weaker in other ways. Like physically weaker as a case. My buddy ended up getting... I have an IRL buddy that ended up getting my... You know what? This is going to be completely closed. There's no windows on this. I'm not even going to run most of these cables through the back. We're just going to float them up front. I just need to decipher which are PCIe cables versus CPU cables. Because those are always hard to tell. Okay, I have. But yeah, my IRL buddy ended up with my... what was I going to say? My Define 5 XL? No, Define R5. There wasn't an XL yet. My Define R5, because his case didn't get delivered on time when I went over to build his computer or something, and we were supposed to swap them back, and I never did. But frankly, I don't miss it. I vaguely remember that Define R4 video. They like kicked it through the yard or something, right? Why upfront making this for someone you dislike? Because it has a solid side panel because it's a silence build. So you're never going to see the cables. So why would I waste time and headache trying to route them in ways that'll make the back panel or, you know, the side panel hard to put on and make my life more difficult for something that you'll never see and thus provides quite literally no benefit, as has been proven time and time again. Because Windows on cases is honestly kind of silly. When do you think we will start seeing 4K 120 Hz capture cards? Honestly, maybe by the end of the year. I want to see if I can widen this up at all. Can I? Zoom out. Oh, yo! Okay, I could have... What? Are you serious? Alright, that works. I miss silent cases being more prominent. You and me both, brother. Yeah, the only other downside is there's obviously no USB-C on the front of this case, but in the house, I'm honestly not... Like, I don't care. What about dust bunnies? Will this person keep... There's a dust filter on the front and on the bottom. All the intakes have dust filters. Why do people act like it's hard to keep computers clean? Like, I keep all of my computers on the floor. Computers have dust filters now, unless you buy really shitty cases. You take those off every 6 months, you hit them with a can of compressed air, you rinse them out, or you wave it around outside, and your computer's clean. Your webcam's got a remote? Yeah, it's the Nexigo Iris 4K. I did a video on it a month or two ago. It's pretty sick. It's mainly like a video conferencing kind of conference room cam, so that's why it's got those features. Pretty common in those kinds of cameras. Not as cool as my big actual like PTZ cams though. Finally getting those set back up in the new space. Oh yeah, we still gotta pick out RAM. Oh god! My Corsair! My vengeance! My vengeance! What happened? Huh. Yeah, vacuum your house and change your furnace filters. Exactly. I'm honestly super lazy about changing my dust filters, but it makes a huge difference. Well, that stinks. Whatever. All right, so we have 2 sticks of 8 gigabytes, 3600. I feel like we could do better than that. Someone asked my thoughts on AIOs. They're great. If you get the right one. I got burned by the Intermax one being basically the only good one for Threadripper, and they basically ate themselves, so you know. Alright, I got some parts in some different places. I got a 2 terabyte drive I want to use, which is only like the only like new part we're using. I had some RAM in here, I think. Actually, what are these drives? 1 terabyte. We might throw that in. 250 gig. Don't want it. I had some RAM in here. 240. Those are for consoles, like my PS2 and Xbox and stuff. Got an XPG stick in here. 3000 megahertz. No thank you. Alright. Now we're talking. Kingston Fury. Kit of 2. Why does RAM not clearly state what it is? Every company does this. It should just be required to say X gigabytes, X speed. Who at all of these companies thinks it's okay to not do that? Ugh. I know it's good. It's their new Renegade stuff. It's like fairly new. I just hope it's enough capacity. VGC Construction. Thank you for all your helpful videos, especially the OBS content. Appreciate you. Well, thank you. Here. Thank you for the super chat. Super glad to help. Thank you so freaking much. Means a lot to me. Alright, we're just gonna try it, I guess. I need to see if there's any more of those sticks in that drawer first, but I forgot we can't mount the motherboard yet. We gotta figure out our backplate situation. There we go. Yeah, I think that's all of that kit. Whoa. Shouts out to Kingston. They've provided me... Actually, it's funny. Okay. Super nostalgic shouts out to Kingston. Kingston has been providing me SSDs and RAM for 11 years now. Yeah, since 2012. They were my first ever press contact as a YouTuber. And they provided me the RAM that went in this very case when I made my big upgrades. In this rig. So I think it's kind of touching that we're using Kingston again, as they've now dropped their HyperX branding, sold that off to HP, I think, and are just launching their own lines now. If that was VCG, they're huge now in the tool scene. Well, that's cool. Hi. Thank you for stopping by the stream, and thank you for the super chat. Amazing. I think Kingston was also LTT's first sponsor for WAN Show. That's pretty cool. Alright, we gotta figure out... Oh wait, this looks like a standard backplate on here. Maybe that's normal? No, that's definitely the AIO backplate. Alright, hopefully the Noctua comes with one. Kingston sold out HyperX to HP. I'm pretty sure it was HP. Like, Kingston no longer runs the HyperX brand. Another company does. But they still make their own line of products. And they kept most of the sub-brands. Like, there used to be HyperX Fury. Now it's just Kingston Fury. Kingston has always been, like, the main... Like, one of the OG memory companies. I don't know how I'm going to get this standoff off now. It's, like, really stuck in there. I may have to go get some pliers to unscrew that. That sucks. we will work on unboxing the D15 first. As I play computer parts juggle. Plus side of the R4, it slides perfectly into the Ergo Share 2. First time I've seen YouTube have more delay than Twitch. YouTube always has more delay than Twitch. That's always been the case. That has never, not once been the case. Can you elaborate on what you would get on Tier 2 on Discord? So if you subscribe over at, here. Where's my mouse? We'll do this the fancy way. No, don't go to sleepy. So if you subscribe to our Discord server, we have what's called server subscriptions available. Instead of subscribing on Twitch or through YouTube channel memberships or Patreon, this is the best way to support me and my work. It is basically the same idea. You know, subscribe, 90% of the revenue goes to me. Might be 95, I don't remember exactly. I honestly don't care. It's the highest chunk. And you get some benefits. You get access to some secret channels. And with the Tier 2 sub, you get access to a bunch of more consultation-y channels with an intergroup with other creators and like higher-end creators and things like that. And so we do lots of feedback, even for my own stuff, on thumbnails and titles and scripts. And we have a classroom channel where like sometimes I'll make big threads talking about stuff, you know, as things come up, and you're free to ask whatever questions and get more direct answers and things like that. So it's more of like a direct, I will help you, versus the $3 tier is just, thanks for supporting, here's a secret chat kind of thing. And a cool role. Just came from YT because it's too slow. I mean, if I'm responding to the YouTube chat, then it's kind of like the questions are going to be in line with what I'm saying in the stream as it comes in anyway. Alright, hopefully this has the backplate. Backplate. Yeah. Sick. I feel like it's been a while since I've had to use one. That's odd. You know what? We don't need the rest of the cooler yet. Alright, so we were good in that regard. I just gotta figure out how to get this freaking standoff out of here. Ah, it does not want to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get some pliers. They're in my shed, so I literally have to leave the studio. So I will be back in just a split second. Head to backingtrack.gg for some stream-safe music for your streams. Okay, I don't know where my needle nose are, but these should hopefully do it. Just got to be a little more careful about where it goes. There we go. That's literally all I needed. Jesus. Okay. So we want to get that new backplate on there before... Oh, Lord. Oh, hey, nice. It's cut out properly. All right. We want to get that on there before we bother putting it in the case. Just make our lives easier. Just verifying which specific part I need because it's been a little too long. That's not the right manual. I don't have AM4 or AM5. Alright, yeah, we need those pokey bits. Yeah. Ah! Oh no, I just spilled a bunch. How could this happen? Alright, I think we're good. Has anybody... I need a chair now. Heck. Hold on. Secondary seating device. Has anyone seen any cool CES stuff other than what we covered already? Like anything we may have missed so far? Or did I simply lose everyone in the BRB section? Which is fine. That's how it usually goes. Whee! Not watched for a month. How's the cat? Doing pretty well. Transitioned to living in the house now. So, despite being Render the studio cat, she is no longer really a studio cat. But it was for the best. So OBS gave you special thanks in the update. Very cool. Hell yes! Amazing OBS people. OBS 29 is officially out, although there's still some issues I'm having with it that I gotta test with Jim. Alright, we are missing a spacer. I think it fell on the floor. Shoot. 1 second. Yeah, got it. Alright. Hello? Get in the holes. Mother... What? The wireless TV. Yeah. We covered the LG one. I don't know why everyone makes a big deal about it still having power. Like, obviously a TV's gonna need power. Like, I see the advantage. I think the one cable solutions, which there have been plenty of going back to the, like, plasma days of, you know, just having one box that connects up to it. I think that is a perfectly acceptable solution, as useful as the wireless one would be, but I still think the core idea is, like, fine. Yeah, Samsung's not the only one with it. I don't entirely know why they get all the credit for it, but Panasonic had some, like, plasma screens that way, too. If I'm remembering right. What? What? The Varjo XR3 Focal Edition VR headset. I've not heard of that. Streamer at CES checked out the Mudra Band for Apple Watch. Allows movement-based controls through Apple Watch. Well, that's cool. There's a lot of cool VR stuff in the works at the moment. This an Intel build? Yeah, this is the 10900K. The board is an Asus ROG. I don't know. Optimum 3? No, that's just the memory setup. Yeah, I don't know. No one labels their products anymore. Asus sent it for a build forever ago, so shouts out to them. They send me lots of stuff as well. And honestly, we were talking about that AMD FX build. That was an Asus build too. That was what made me an Asus fan back in the day, was the ROG Crosshair V Formula Z, I think is the board I use with it. One cable solutions like Thunderbolt 3.4 are typically not cost competitive compared to a dedicated power input and a display port. Yeah, but those TVs aren't using Thunderbolt. I don't know why this isn't fitting together. The pins are angled for some reason. What did we do? It only goes in one way. It's only supposed to... snagged my desk mat. Damn it. Why are they like angling? No, the space motherfucker! One moment. Every time. I forget that they don't just attach. I wish there was a better system for it. Now we're missing two. Because they go bouncing everywhere. I love Noctua, but I feel like their install processes sometimes are just like really stupid. Alright, let's figure out why this isn't fitting. Goes in like this. Screw literally only fits in one way due to the keying. So it's not like I have it fit in the wrong way. I can pull it to the inside a little bit, but it's already like that on this one. Now, Noctua's mounting have always been a headache for me. I'm not saying anyone else's is necessarily better, but like... there's just so many tiny parts at once. Okay, I see the problem. One side is on the outside, one side's on the inside. Like, using this many tiny pieces just to mount a CPU cooler doesn't seem effective, or like efficient. And I have been installing Noctua coolers for over 10 years. And I've never once been a fan. Ha ha ha. Fan. Yeah, I think that's what spoiled me on it, Hunter. Is that you use higher end sockets like SP3 for Threadripper and everything just mounts to the board. Those are perfect. I think it's not, I'll walk it back. It's not Noctua's fault. It is the consumer board's fault for having shitty mounting systems. When you get to the server side and the workstation side, and everything's built in and it's way more robust, meanwhile the consumer one is like, you want a tiny little metal plate and to figure out the rest for yourself, go for it. When on SP3 for Threadripper, you just screw it into the damn plate that the CPU is on, and it's that easy. Is that a Logitech MX mouse? Yeah, it's the MX Master 3 or 3S or whatever the hell they call them now. I've owned every generation of them. I think they sent me the second generation one. And then I had bought the first one when it came out, and then bought the third one when it came out. Because Logitech stopped talking to me. I like them. They melt. Like, the plastic always just erodes. This one, the 3 held up better than the first 2. The first 2 were just like, ugh. I still have the second one for my Mac setup, but both of them just melted to oblivion. Okay, now I can get to the normal part. Jesus Christ. Did you ever use the MX1000 back in the day? Probably not. Yeah, I just miss when, you know, the back plates that came on CPUs were all you needed to mount stuff into. Is this the right spacing? Did I do this all wrong? We're on LGA 1700, right? I'm gonna assume so. Bigger number, more pins, newer. No, we're not gonna be on 1700. Fuck. 10th gen LGA. Yeah, it's 1200. I needed the black ones. So people coming late to the stream, we are building a gaming PC using mostly older parts. We just literally cannibalized 4 different computers to build this one computer. Mostly older parts that I have. This is a 10900K and Asus whatever good board, X570 or something. No, that would be AMD. Z570, I don't know. Whatever AMD ROG board was good at the time, effectively. It's gonna be a gaming PC for me in the house. I need it to be silent, so we're using my almost 10-year-old Fractal Design Define R4 because it is the goated case ever. I'm so used to, like, the reason I assumed it was LGA 1700 because it was the bigger and better one was because I'm used to these parts being, like, the hot new stuff. Alright. I think I have the shield for this sitting somewhere. If not, we can put some drives in here. We do have 3 drives, though, so I want to go on and figure that out before we mount it in the case. Z470. Yeah. Don't forget to take the peel off. Yeah. Oh, hey, there's a drive in here. Great. Hello, screw. There we go. So what are you? XPG 512 gig. No, thank you. Alright, so we have 2 terabytes. 1 terabyte. Not a clue, but probably 1 terabyte. Guess for now we can zoom back in a little bit. I also think every board's M.2 drives need to have the little plastic tab now. I think there's zero excuse for not doing that, especially when they can be 3D printed. They are obnoxious to 3D print, which is why I don't do them. Because printing things that small is very... especially with threads. I've had the worst time 3D printing with threads. I'm tearing the thermal pad. Thermal pads... oh, they're so annoying. Alright. So obviously that's going to be the faster slot. I don't think it matters which drive is faster in this configuration. We'll put the rocket up there because it's probably the fastest. This is one of those metal plated stickers, so we will leave it on. I do need to find that plate before I commit to that. Hang on, I think I know where it is. I just had some components sitting out. It's gonna be right in front of me when I don't look. I just had it sitting out. For this purpose. Is this even for the right board? No! It's not even for this board! What? Yikes. Okay. Then we're putting we're putting the least important drive. Oh, you couldn't see that. This is for an MSI board. So we're going to put the least important drive up here. The one that doesn't need much cooling. Which would be this one. No, it goes up here. It'll get some passive cooling from the Noctua, but like, that's it. I know I have this in a box somewhere, but that's probably in my attic. I'm not going to pull that out right now. So honestly, this will be fine. This is likely an old gen. I mean, there's a chance it's a Corsair MP600. Like, if we're being real, there's a chance. Although it doesn't have stuff on the back, so I somehow doubt it. But there's a slight chance it's a Corsair MP600. But overall, especially with how low capacity it looks like, it's gonna be fine. It'll get some passive airflow. That's probably all it needs. Oh, that screw holds both drives down. That's at least clever. I still hate having the screws. Incorporating 10 gig LAN into this build. Yeah, if... I gotta check the card size. If I can, it'll go down here for a Quantia. Although it has 2.5 gig on board. For in the house, that's probably good enough. But I do always have my in-house build hooked up to a 10 gig pipe that runs out to the garage. Hold on, we're both bottom SSDs held down by the same screw. They are! It's kind of clever. Like, I'd still prefer the plastic thing, but it's kind of clever. Yeah, Sabrent rules. Making contact. Yep. All right. That poor drive will just deal. We got RAM. I hope the RAM fits with the cooler. I'm gonna be pissed if it doesn't. NVMe should not go higher than 70C. I doubt it will. I know I'm just saying that without having any reason to believe it, but I doubt it will. Do we happen to have a slot on the back? We don't. Yeah, I mean, it'll be fine, really. I'm not worried about it. Sabrent has that M.2 to USB-C enclosure. Oh yeah, I have that too. Except, yeah, mine has a screw. I got one right here. But yeah, mine's a screw down, so I literally just, whenever I'm using it, I just pop the heatsink on top, squeeze it down, and just leave it upside down. I don't even screw it back together. I don't know where these screws are, because I'm always swapping drives out for it. If I want one to use as an actual external drive, I'll just get another one and keep it sealed. Alright, I think we're good to drop this into the case. I never even peeled off the peels. Ooh, that was actually a satisfying peel. Okay, that one's already peeled. That was a satisfying peel too. What about this one? Did I peel this one? It doesn't look like it. I guess I did. That's fine. You're not gonna see it. Is this gonna be the kid's first PC? Ha! Ha! Way too high spec for that. My kid's first PC is gonna be my actual Windows 98 PC. Alright. And now we can zoom back out. Kids should get a Raspberry Pi. Honestly, yeah. I got a couple of those. That would make a great first PC. Yeah, the M.2 enclosure is... That's exactly what I use it for, is for cloning. Why you don't peel your motherboard? Because it doesn't provide you with anything, and it keeps it cleaner and safer, and I mostly do builds where you don't see it. And obsessing over little details like that is a waste of time and energy and spoons. Even Linus Tech Tips peels everything. Yeah, because it's part of the meme for them. It's not part of a meme for me. I build utility. I build utility. So saying even Linus Tech Tips peels everything isn't really a metric. $200 for a Raspberry Pi PC. You're not wrong. That's why I just have spares. You can use my old 3B or something. That is a PCIe screw. Please don't take the standoff out. It's gonna take the standoff out. I hate when I do that. Cross thread the standoffs. Alright, that one just lives there now. Where are my motherboard screws at? There were not very many in that other build. I just need a few. I don't need them all. That one's fine. Do I really only have two? I'd kind of like a couple more than that. I have a 7950X and a 4080. Which one would you recommend recording from? The 4080. There is virtually never once an advantage to recording on CPU. Like, you will get nothing from it. Meanwhile, the 4080 can record everything like nothing's happening, so. Hello? Have the LTT screwdriver gods failed me? Record in NVENC HEVC. This screw is not even going into the threads. What? Well, it's in there for now. Do I not have any motherboard screws? Hang on, I got a little bucket in here. There's gotta be some in here, right? That's a PCIe screw. These are all like springy screws for something. Here's one. Here's one. Honestly, I wish they would have just swapped standoffs to being the same threads as PCIe screws at some point. Because I know everyone makes that mistake. And frankly, I get tons of motherboard screws that use the same head and everything. So it's not even like they're easy to tell apart anyway. Like, when you know, but if you don't know, or you have screws that look the exact same, you don't always have a reason to know. Is that not magnetic? What? Well, now what am I gonna do? A non-ferrous screw? Are you kidding me? Get, It's really stuck in there, too. Oh, I just knocked my Halo helmet down. What the hell? Okay. Yeah, you know if the LTT magnet can't get it, there's no metal in that screw at all. The screws are never labeled in the new accessory boxes either. That is even more unfortunate. Let's try this again. Is that not the right threads? Oh, it is. Okay. Alright, one more for good measure if we have it. I don't think these are it, but I will try it. Those fancy carbon fiber screws. Oh, these aren't metal either! You bastards. Alright, then I'm gonna do this outside one where I can't lose it as easy. That much on the 4K series GPU, but AMD is doing way better in price per performance. I mean, that's literally what they say every year. So yes, but I'm gonna buy the thing that does what I need. That being said, I am very stoked to play around with the 7900X. But until it, like, honestly, in this PC, the 7900X might be fine, because I don't really, like, I stream sometimes, but, like, it's probably okay for that. Yeah, it's in there. It's not all the screws, but it's not like I'm gonna drop a 50-pound computer anyway. Not that the weight would mean I wouldn't drop it, but that, like, it's heavy enough I'm not doing anything with it where I would drop it, is what I'm implying. Alright. Now I gotta fish these stupid CPU cables and plug them in. What will be your use case for this gaming PC from old parts? For gaming in my house. I was using the NUC that we cannibalized for the parts, for some of the parts. And now I'll be using this for silence and for toddler durability. Well, that is a much more expensive price difference between 4080 and 4090 than I think most people have. But 4090 is definitely a better value. I know you can't see anything from here, but I really gotta try to fish this cable through real quick. Toddler durability, toddlerability. How? Another thing that has been improved on, I might as well switch to this. Another thing that was much improved with HEDT style configs, which is Threadripper, X299, whatever, is the CPU power connectors were over by the motherboard power connector, so you don't gotta deal with this crap where it's off in this top left corner where no one can reach it. Terrible power placement trend that I'm sure might have had an electrical reason, but otherwise just fucking sucks. I just overspent on 23090s, yeah. It honestly, it's wild how much performance difference the 4090 has over like the older gens, because the current prices you can get 3090s and 3090 Ti's at is an incredible value. Like seriously, it is, especially for the VRAM if you're doing AI or like performance work. But the 4090 is still so much better that sucks. Oh, what did I just hit my mouse button. I squished my mouse. What CPU, GPU? This is the 10900K Intel. We got some Kingston Fury RAM. This is some newer DDR4 stuff, but I don't actually know the specs on it because no one puts specs on their memory anymore, or ever. Lots of SATA plugs I don't know if I need yet. I'll go ahead and route the CPU, or the motherboard power cable, and the rear fan, I think this is. No, those are the front fans. Oh dear. We will route those in just a second. Let's get the NUC 2 on before we route the... Well, no, we should route the rest of the fan cables first. Hold up. This is rear chassis. Trying to figure out where I should route it. It's probably going to go way down here. So I need that extender we had before. Do you at some point plan on making new streaming recording recommended settings for updated hardware we have now? I mean, I guess I didn't do 40 series. So, the short answer is yes, but I can't promise when, because frankly, it's a concept that I have minimal interest in, because with the newer stuff for NVIDIA, the answer is literally just whatever you want. Like, I did do that video about the 4080s. Wolfed in with the party of 128. What? What? Sup, dude? Thank you for the raid. Thank you so much. And Hunter with the 5 gifted subs right away. Getting that hype train going. Thank you for stopping by. Hope y'all are having a wonderful weekend. We just cannibalized 4 PCs to get some older for me parts together for an in-house gaming PC that's meant to be like toddler proof. You can't even see my face. It's fine. We're using the Fractal Design Define R4 that I got in 2014, so it's covered in some very cringy 2014 era stickers. This was my early YouTube days case, for tech YouTube at least. But yeah. I don't remember what I was responding to. Oh yeah, so for NVIDIA, I did make that video on the 40 series recording capabilities, and literally you can do whatever you want and it won't care. So like, I don't have anything to recommend there. For AMD, encoder is much more limited. I will have a video for that one. Although I did touch on it in my review, but we will have a video on it. All right, we need to get this cooler in here, and then we can start, honestly, wrapping up. No, I wanted to get the other two fans in. Hold on. I have good memory. Smile. We gotta get the fan cables out. Love your videos, researching in depth on certain topics and reviews, other things. Keep it up. Love the content. Thank you so much. Thank you all for stopping by the stream. Have you done a video on upward compression yet? Yes, I have. I've not done it for specific to OBS 29's settings. I will have a dedicated video on that. It'll probably be my only 29 launch coverage since I already did a big video on the 29 beta. But I have done a video on upward compression and the principles in general, and that video is what inspired the upward compression filter. So theoretically, I mean, all of that should apply just straight on. These are the fans, at least the front ones, that came with the case. So they're not even PWM since it's so old. They're probably fine, but if they're not quiet, I'll swap them for some Noctuas. I gotta be honest with you all. I have virtually never done a quiet build. And I don't know why. I've been building PCs for like 20 years now. I've used Noctuas, I've used the low voltage adapters, I've used silence-oriented cases, and I never feel like a computer is whisper quiet. And then I watch a video from like Linus Tech Tips where they get one from like Main Gear or something, and they put the mic up to it and they're like, you can't even hear it. And I feel like that's physically impossible because I always hear the computers. I don't know. Ebos in chat, you're just the people I want to talk to. Does Discord have something for helping EQ a mic? It does not. It only has noise removal. I prefer performance over noise. I mean, I do in general too. Like, I mean, that's what I do. But also, I do produce content and need some degree of silence. And in the house, I just don't want something that sounds like a freaking helicopter. Handbrake just got AV1 support right. It got AV1 for the SVT CPU encoder and for ARC. It does not have NVIDIA or AMD yet. What GPU for 120 FPS or more, AAA games, 1440p? 3060 and higher, 6800 XT and higher, I assume? Just move to the computer to the other room. Not possible. Alright, hopefully that USB plug is okay. It's situated kind of weird. Alright, cooler time. Do I need to zoom out more? Yeah, we can do that. Does your Discord have a channel for help EQing a mic? Yes, audio tech setups. Discord.gg/EposVox, by the way. If you're thinking of subbing on Twitch or YouTube or something, just sub over there. You get lots more stuff, including a whole set of consultation channels if you sub to the second tier, where we can personally help you out with your thumbnails or your scripts or your videos or whatever. I am never going to open a Noctua cooler without slicing my fingers, but that's fine. Well, we already kicked the plate off. Whatever. Alright. And they always pre-install this middle fan, I guess to save space in the box. But you always gotta take it off, because you can't get to the screws with it pre-installed. Can confirm, Squid is only in those secret channels. Not 1440p, 3060 won't do. I gamed at 1440p on a 970. Yes, you can. The problem with that question is when you say AAA games, that could mean anything. Because if you're talking about a game like Warzone, for example, that's hard to run on anything because it's unoptimized to shit. So, unfortunately, AAA games doesn't necessarily specify much. Just bought a new PC and it's almost silent. It has a 360 rad. Yeah. This one should be basically silent, though, especially because it'll be sitting in the floor below my desk. Like, should be fine. All right, we need thermal paste, which was in the box. And yes, the included Noctua stuff is fine. I am a huge fan of the Noctua MX4 and whatever newer crap they have, but the Noctua stuff is totally fine. UPS on the ground seems to be louder than... Jesus. I've never had my UPSs make that much, like, hardly any noise. They don't even really have fans most of the time. What? That is too much thermal paste. I do not give a crapola. Alright, we are apparently doing top to bottom for this. That is not what I want to do. Alright, before we go any further. Where is my LTT screwdriver? Where'd it go? Chat. Chat. Findmyscrewdriver.com. Someone asked ChatGPT where my screwdriver went. I just used it. Hello? We just... I hate doing this. Someone sees it on camera. We just put the... And then the... In the... And then... What is happening? Oh, found it. I got the nice pink purple one. EPO Study XE is hung. Basically. Totally gotta get a chat controlled PTZ cam. I can do it with the bird dog ones I have. I have one ceiling mounted and then one's gonna be in the other corner. I also got sent this cheapo 1080p one for review. That we could probably also hook up to from Rockware. But the bird dog ones are NDI, so. Driver was on the left, called it. Yeah. What's up, Brucifer? Alright, we gotta switch these. Love bird dog cams, we use them at the theater. Yeah, I freaking love them. Full disclosure, I am a bird dog ambassador of sorts, although admittedly I haven't talked to him in a while, but love them over there regardless. Oh no, the back plate's falling out now. Son of a bitch. I don't even know if it'll fit this way though. Oh, there goes the back plate. God, I hate back plates. Yeah, I'm sorry, but every CPU mount and socket now should be like the Threadripper, the SP3. Oh, it got on the thermal paste, motherfuck. Oh, no, it didn't. Every CPU mount should be like Threadripper's SP3. It is far superior in every way. And now I'm trying to do this blind. There we go. SP3 is just such a good socket. And I know they use like SP5 or something now for the new one, but that socket design for servers and workstations is so much better. Oh god. Give me the spacer. Yeah, I don't know how you could tell me this cooler mounting design is a good one. Not that, again, anyone else is necessarily better. But there's nothing good about this, like, needing so many parts and so many hands. Yeah, I can't... Oh, I can mount it this way. Okay. The day is saved, thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. This build just for the heck of it or being put to work? So, the primary purpose... Screw on there. Primary purpose of this build is for my in-house gaming PC. We were using the NUC that we cannibalized for parts for this rig. I'm now switching to a full beefy rig because I tried rendering videos on it today. I do use it for work sometimes, like usually just emails and stuff, but I do some light, like all the shorts and like Fox clips, channel clips I've been posting, those all get edited on the rig. But I was trying to render the Halo Reach video that I posted with BBK Dragoon today, and it delayed me by hours because it just took so long to render and then crashed, and part of it's just due to being underpowered compared to most of the stuff I use, because the difference in video editing on a 24 gig VRAM card versus all the other ones is just embarrassing. And so it's both going to be for just quiet toddler-proof gaming in the house, and then, you know, some video editing and stuff like that as well. All right, that's close enough. I can screwdriver it the rest of the way. Backplate installed, sheet, piece of foam shoved on their backplate. Well, do you think you could daily drive a Steam Deck as a PC and gaming rig? No. Because it would run pretty much everything I need to do on a PC other than gaming like ass. If you just did emails and writing and stuff and you were fine carrying a completely separate setup like keyboard and shit, sure, would be fine. But for video editing and photo editing and all that stuff, especially having to dual boot Windows to do half of what I wanted, oh god no. But if you were just a writer or just had emails or web apps, just using the normal SteamOS desktop mode, don't even got a dual boot, would be lovely. I love my Steam Deck. Mobile phone has more grunt. I mean, iPad Pro, I mean, mine isn't the M1, so I can't run Resolve on it because I don't have an M1 iPad. But if you had the M1 iPad Pro, that could run Resolve. Oh yeah, someone asked me about Resolve. JD Plays. Using Resolve over Premiere? Yeah, Resolve is all I use now. Use Resolve. Alright. CPU fan 1. I don't know what order these are in because they're not labeled. But it's fine. Air blowing to the back of the case. I already have a Steam Deck, and I think Apple's consumer policies are icky. Most of their consumer policies are very good. It's just, I got thermal paste all over me at some point. What? How? How? I had a cut! I had a cut! I had a cut! Mother... I didn't know I had a cut. I always do that. Yeah, at some point, I don't know if it's because my skin's dry or I sliced it on the Noctua. Cut my cuticle, apparently. Alright, whatever. That's the Home Alone moment of putting, even though that doesn't make sense for a child, because they didn't actually shave and cut themselves, but you know, that's the Home Alone moment of the aftershave and going, just on my fingers. Was that blood in the PC? It was. If you don't leave blood in your PC, are you actually building a PC? I was going to answer a question. Studio versus free. Studio, okay, real quick. Studio versus free, feature-wise, you don't need to upgrade. The only reason you would need to upgrade is, ironically, performance. DaVinci Resolve outbeats every other NLE in terms of performance due to their crazy GPU-accelerated encode and decode engine stuff. That's only in the Studio version. In the free version, for H.264 and H.265 footage, what you would normally use from OBS, it uses your operating system level decoders, which run really, really slow and crappy, and you don't get that performance. The workaround would be to either transcode your footage to DNxHR, Cineform, ProRes, and edit those, or generate proxies within Resolve or their new proxy generator program, and that works around it, and it's fine. You still get HEVC export and all that stuff now because of the updates, and AV1 export, I think, as well. You don't get the AI noise removal features, though. But as long as you're willing to generate proxies and stuff at first, it's totally worth just downloading the free version, try it out, make sure you can learn it, blah, 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 and then pay $300 one-time purchase for the Studio, and you're good to go. Highly recommended. I was going to respond to something else. Oh yeah, Apple stuff. Like, their closed-in ecosystem kind of policies can suck, but overall, like, they're very, you know, privacy-focused and shit, so. Within the reason of a megacorp, you know, they are only beholden to their bottom line, so. privacy is a selling feature for them more than whatever. You know how it is. I don't need to preach. Alright, did this come with low noise adapters or just... Yes! Okay. I don't need the splitter, I just need the adapters. Sick! And they're also helpful as tiny little extensions. I'm gonna end up grabbing the studio version, but I also low-key want the speed editor. Used to, they sold it for the same price as the key, so you got basically a free key. But now it's like $100 more. I don't like the speed editor because it only works in the cut page, and I think the cut page in Resolve is absolutely useless. It's good for like daily work on like TV show or film sets, but not good for YouTube videos, IMO. It's just a different philosophy to editing that just doesn't make sense to me. Happy New Year, Coalition Chris. Yeah, the speed editor device, 90% of its functionality only works on the cut page. Which I think is incredibly stupid, but... Like, I bought one, and I bought... Oh god, I gotta ban a spam bot. I'm trying to build a computer, you freaking sex bots. No one wants your spam porn. You can get porn for free. Did that work? No. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, the speed editor only works in the cut page of Resolve, which I think was a dumb decision. I bought one, got a Resolve key from it, hated trying to use the cut page, and just sold off the speed editor, kept the key. I disclosed that. It's not like I told someone they were getting a key. Like, they knew that was happening, but I basically got a very free or discounted key out of it back when they were selling them that cheap. I know a little bit of Premiere Pro from when I was younger. I already paid for Adobe apps, so I want to learn NLE proper. Is that much worth more to learn it? I think so, because it's where things are heading, and Adobe needs to like completely overhaul their apps to catch up, so whatever, but Premiere is also totally fine to learn. Like, it's still industry standard and everything, so... That fan sits almost uncomfortably high because of my tall RAM. Which is like realistically fine for cooling, but I'm just trying to make sure the side panel will fit. This is not the correct side panel, but just... It's close, but it sits on there. Oh, the low noise adapter, it just drops the voltage of the fan so it runs a little slower, so it runs quieter. That way it still receives the signals from your motherboard to ramp up and down as needed, but it runs at a slower speed overall than, you know, it would otherwise be set to. Okay. Cooler, hooked up. I assume those first two fan ports are the correct ones. Probably fine. We need to hook up power to our DVD or our Blu-ray drive, because I do use that and I want to be able to rip movies in the house for Plex. That is what? That is a splitter, but where does it receive power? What? What? Where does it receive power from? Hold on. Splitter. What? That doesn't make any sense. Where is it getting the rest of its power from? It just has female ends. Oh. Oh god, it's run to the back of the case. Alright, I'll figure that out in a minute. So we just need to plug in whichever one of these SATA cables runs to... We'll just plug both of them in. For the Blu-ray drive. Hello? There we go. We'll just do them both up. Wait, why do I have a random black PCIe power cable? What does that run to? Nothing. The old power supply. Rip. Alright. So I guess... Oh, we need front... Where's the front panel connectors? Here we go. I, like, messed all these up. Hey, HD audio, which I'm not going to use, but I plug in anyway for some reason. Only ever use back audio. Alright, we need the actual power plugs. Is this case 10 years old? Yes. It's the Fractal Design Define R4. Wonderful case. Absolutely wonderful case. There's my cables. Why are you zip tied like that? Oh no. That's hilarious. Anyway. Jesus. What a zip tie. Alright, scissor time. That is gonna bug me till the day I die now. There it is. I'm not even gonna tell you what I did. You can just deal. I will have to live with it. Oh, Joey, we get to pick these out one by one. Is that CPU fans up there? I don't know what you're asking. Alright, those switches might be reversed, but it's fine. Two CPU fans, yes. It's the Noctua NHD15 dual fan cooler. Alright, I want to see if I notice this mess up. Yeah, I'm gonna notice it. Well... yeah. That is really unfortunate. I'll live with it. Anyway. Alright, so... guess it's GPU time. It's a 3090. I don't think it was a secret, but... we do gotta remove our PCIe bracket here. Drop it down one. I guess they just stapled two together. Not really. It's a legendary cooler. Love the Soundcraft mixer you there. Is that the Multitrack 12? It is. Oh, Lord. Doesn't feel like it's sitting in the slot, but it is. All right. Do you see my super chat? Apparently not. My bad. New PC, 13700K, 6950 XT recording. Use QuickSync or AMF. If you're just recording, I mean, the answer I'm always going to give is test it and see what works best for you. Quality-wise, it doesn't matter because you're recording. You can do HEVC on both of them, and it will run fine. So my thing would be to test some of your more demanding games you plan on recording and just see which one has the worst impact. I'd say lean towards AMF, just because QuickSync on an iGPU can get overloaded pretty quickly. Just because there's a lot going on. But overall, I mean, like I said, my primary answer will be to just test whatever works for you. Both will be great options. Downloading Resolve after register, blah, 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 blah. No, it's dumb, but that's, you know. Everything for free involves data collection, so. Okay, minor problem. My third GPU power connector here is only a 6-pin, not an 8-pin. I'm gonna have to go fishing for my other cable mod cables, I think. Unless I have one kind of shoved out of the way, because nothing is organized here. But we only have a 6-pin. We need another 8-pin. Yeah, I don't think I have it hiding anywhere. Alright, we gotta go... I gotta dig in my... power supply tote. I need to figure out where that is. It's right in front of me. You know what? I don't see any more cable mod, but I do have EVGA. Actually, we will use this one to be safe. Yeah, that's why I switched to this one, because this one is specifically for the G3 power supply, which is what this is. I don't want to take any chances. I have killed some stuff. With bad... Mostly with the Molex... Oh, wrong plug. Mostly with Molex, the SATA adapters being the wrong, you know, SATA end on the... Hey, Epos, what's the deal with MP4 files and Resolve can only seem to export in 192 kilobits per second? You mean for audio? Yeah, that's a limit on their AAC encoder. I don't know why, but there's no reason to use MP4. Use MOV. You get full PCM uncompressed wave audio. So use the QuickTime option instead of MP4. MP4 is a bad container. I do think it's dumb that they limit that. I don't know if it's like a licensing issue for how they license their AAC encoder or what. But I do find it frustrating because you can only do AV1 in MP4. QuickTime can hold, you know, HEVC and H.264 and whatever else. But AV1 can only go in MP4, and thus you're limited on audio. And so if I really want to upload AV1 for some reason, I will typically export it in AV1 from Resolve, and then also export a PCM wave copy of the audio and remux them together using MKV toolnix. But surely for YouTube it wouldn't matter if you use MP4. I mean, 192 kilobits per second can be pretty compressed. You want the best quality audio. Well, Resolve can't export to MKV, Hunter. No NLE can. Well, the open source ones can, but most of them can't because MKV is not a very cooperative container for video editors. So it can't, like, Premiere or Resolve can't use MKV at all for exports. Anyway, linear PCM, yes. But anyway, yeah. 192 kilobits per second is pretty compressed, and for audio for YouTube you want to send as high quality audio as possible, and given how low bitrate audio is in the first place, there's really no reason to not just send uncompressed audio and get the best possible quality. Alright, we got room for both a capture card for my Steam Deck and an Aquantia 10 gig, so we're gonna do both. How have you gotten to this far into the build with no cuts? I didn't. You missed the part where I sprayed alcohol to clean my hands and very quickly discovered I did have cuts. Because I always just do a quick spray on my hands to like clean off thermal grease. And very quickly regretted that. Alright, we need... What PCIe capture card should I go with? I'm gonna get my Aquantia NUC. I'll switch back to this view real quick. I need my flashlight because the lights are off. Alright. We're gonna be weird. So, got my Aquantia 10 gig. Love these little cards. I got a bunch of them for like 70, 80 bucks each. We're going with the Elgato 4K60 Pro Mark 1. This one, which is using 4 1080p chips stitched together. I broke the tab off here because that was stupid. I think that's what we're going with. So we're going to put this in the bottom slot so it blocks the least amount of graphics card. And this one will go next to the graphics card because it's smaller. But yeah, because I have the Mark II. That's a 10 gig card with the PCIe X4 slot. What gen is it? I don't know. It's the same Aquantia NUC everyone got. There's like some weird dust around here. I assume Gen 3? Cheap cases will probably get... This ain't a cheap case. This was a top tier case for its day. Thank you very much. I do have... If you're in my Discord, I've got some much updated EQ videos and stuff that are separate from the OBS course. People in my Discord can link you. One's called Perfect Stream Audio every time. Top tier a decade ago. Honestly, there's not much in regards to getting hurt that is like improved on newer cases. Like my main PC sitting next to me is the Define R7 XL. I just slotted this network card in, not in the slot. I hate it when that happens. Because it can often feel like it's going right in, and it's not actually going in the slot. Got my first capture card the other day too, the NZXT 4K30. Nice. There we go. It's rare that I do a build where all the PCIe slot covers are on. So that part feels kind of good. 10 gig can be handled by PCIe 3. I know cheap case is in the comics. I know it's an Antec just by looking at it. It's a Fractal Define R4. I've said it 100 times. Okay, so that should be everything. The last step will be plugging in, getting the SATA power here, and getting our SATA SSDs plugged in. Because I need lots of game and video storage. I've got a SP 1 terabyte, I think this is. Yeah. Oh, this one was dying though. This was in my wife's rig. I think it was dying. I don't want to risk it. It was acting up. We'll just do the 2 terabyte from Team Group. Off topic, is it worth upgrading from a 3070 Ti to a 4080 right now? Well, you're gonna get a ton of performance boosts. You're gonna get lots of encoder capabilities. But it's also a terrible value for the dollar. Like, you can do a lot with the 4080. But I think basically the entire world is in consensus that those SPs get really hot. Yeah, it was completely overheating. It was wild. Like, I was blown away. It was slowing down the operating system to a crawl. It was getting so hot. So I can't really say whether it's worth it to you or not, because it's very expensive and overpriced. But it's a damn good card. I don't think you'll be disappointed necessarily. You'll just be out of a lot of money. Right, where did my SATA splitter go? I just need to plug this in and we'll just dangle it here. Please, dice. Please, valve. Please, fix. Oh, it's upside down. Well. There we go. I've heard really good things about the Mesh PHY S2. Alright, we plugged in both SATA data connections, so we just need to fish out that power cable. And yes, I know the stickers are cringy. They're from a decade ago. I'll put more on it. Oh no, that's not a SATA splitter. It's a power cable to go to a power supply. I can't use that. Damn, I thought it was just a splitter. I love those little SATA splitters. Alright. Oh, we gotta completely unplug that then. That's probably what that other random cable... Ah. That just makes me sad now. I gotta pull that completely out. Nope. It's gonna stay in there. It lives there now. Got your little sister a capture card for her birthday? Nice! Dumb question. Can I upgrade a i5 9400F to an i7 1200KF on the same motherboard? Nope. That is a completely different socket. That is 3 generations apart. Absolutely not, especially with Intel. Yeah, 12th and 13th gen share the same socket, but 9th gen is way off in a different socket land. Right, we'll just shove that SSD up in that other 5 1/4 bay, along with this SATA connector we don't need anymore. Alright. Good enough. This is what we call, I'm putting a side panel on it, you never have to see it, shut up about cable management build. Let me make sure. Alright. It should all work. Also, this is something that seems to be far more understood by neurodivergent people than neurotypical people, but it's also a matter of the more time I spend tidying up cables, the more cuts and the longer it will take when I need to do this all over again and disassemble a bunch of computers to build something else. You get zero benefit other than looks from cable management. And there's a lot of downsides. You want to see something wild? Look at this old Elgato logo. That's how old this is. That's when I got my HD60. The original HD60. Oh, I didn't plug in the intake fan on the side of the case. Or the exhaust fan. Oh, it needs an extension too. No! Actually. Yeah, it's gonna need an extension. Alright, I'm gonna have to find that. Alright, well. I can do that off camera. It is already 12:41. Damn. We did it, chat. We revived my 10-year-old computer to have slightly newer hardware with the Blu-ray drive that I'm actually going to use. Oh, wait. I just found the extender. Let me see if it fits anywhere. I don't know if I'll be able to slide this on. It's gonna be like a really... There we go. Fan connected. This is just extra exhaust for the GPU. Alright, so let's screw this in and talk about final specs. We are looking at an Intel Core i9 10900K. I hate that they used i9s for consumer chips. An unknown amount of RAM, 16 or 32 gigs of very fast DDR4 from Kingston. An Asus ROG Strix Crosshair Formula whatever Z490 probably-ish. RTX 3090. Fractal design, define R4, keeping old school cases alive. That's not really old school, but older cases alive. And a Quantia 10 gig PCIe NIC. The OG Elgato 4K 60 Pro Mark 1. A bunch of different SSDs because we needed storage. Hasn't it been shown that cable management literally doesn't benefit thermals? Exactly. Yes, it has. The Quantia has been good to me, Nick-wise. Same. We have gotten a few cuts. We have placed a minor cut on the surface of a $4,000 OLED monitor. And we have a PC. I don't really have the capacity to boot it up here, but maybe we can. Yeah, I think I just need to take it in the house and do it. It's already been over 2 hours, though. So, appreciate you all hanging out with me here. Thank you so much for hanging out in the stream. Thank you so much for the super chats and for the subs and for the raid from freaking Wolfden. That was nuts. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, evening, what have you. Is that shock mount sold separately? No, it came with my King B2. And yeah, I will see you all in a future video stream, whatever. We will have slow uploads for a little bit, but we have lots of uploads over on my gaming channel, Lost Saves, and on Analog Dreams coming soon, which is my AI art channel. Remember to be kind, rewind. Bye.